Hello, good morning, and welcome back to the Aligned podcast. I hope you are doing very well. We have had a change around in the studio, so if you're watching on YouTube, you may see things are a little different again. Good morning, Tom. You're back from the States. How is life?
Life is good, Lee.
Good.
Love coming into a new studio again. So yes, if people are listening on the podcast, watch YouTube and watch the last few episodes and see the evolution of the studio. But it keeps it fresh.
Yeah, we're having a new fancy reel going out today.
Nice.
I just felt like I was too far away from you, mate.
I appreciate that, dude. I apprate that.
Back to the good old days.
Good job none of us are shedding on each other.
I know.
Talking about that today.
That is another episode.
States was good.
Good, yeah?
Yeah.
Speech went well, talk.
Amazing.
What do you call that? Keynote? Is it keynote?
I just call it a talk.
Talk, yeah.
Presentation's a bit too formal. I call it talk.
Speech is a bit
presidential.
I gave a speech as well while you was away, mate.
You did, and I think we're going to do an episode similar to that, aren't we?
Yeah. Delivered a eulogy for my dear uncle. It went really well. But yeah, we'll save that for the next one.
That's awesome.
So, any takeaways from the event? Anything like extra awesome happened?
Anything extra awesome? Got some awesome guests lined up for the podcast, which is really cool.
Nice.
The event was amazing. The speakers were brilliant. But on the final night, a few of the speakers got together and had dinner at this amazing steak restaurant at the chef's table, which was just brilliant. So it's just nice to be around people who are on the same wavelength, thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
And knowing that chiropractic's not just back and neck pain, it's about really enhancing life and changing lives.
Yeah.
And it was really awesome to be around that room.
Yeah, it saddens me so much that chiropractors are limited to what they can say by GCC and ASC.
It's ridiculous.
ASM.
ASC says they can say what they want, dude.
Yeah, sorry, not ASC.
For those of you who aren't aware, that's my company, ASC.
Yeah, it's sad. It really is sad because even myself, first-hand experience, like I've seen so many things. Like I've said on the podcast before, the first time I got adjusted by you, my sense of smell was
it's mad, isn't it?
Enhanced. But
it's not mad. It's actually what it is.
Yeah,
like human.
It's not mad.
The main conversation of the weekend was really around the fact that every time we adjust the body, the brain is influenced, and the body just changes and becomes better. Like you can't become worse. No. There was this amazing lady there who's Lorna Cook. She managed to get into the schools in her district, so they go in and adjust the kids in schools.
Dude, that's
amazing.
That is amazing. It's not crazy what happens with chiropractic. It is crazy what chiropractors are limited to saying. Because everybody I speak to, I talk about chiropractic. I should get adjusted. I say it to everybody, basically. So much so that my family are like, shut up talking about chiropractic. But they're like, and everybody I say it to is like, oh, well, I don't have a bad back. And I'm like, wow, like even people close to me, and I talk about it all the time about the central nervous system and what it actually does.
Well, a great question to ask people is, would you rather have a back problem or a brain problem?
Yeah.
And most people would say, obviously, I'd rather have a back problem than a brain problem. But if we think about what the brain does, the brain controls the body. Mm-hmm. How does the brain control the body?
Through the
hands that send the message through the spinal cord, through the nervous system. So if you have a problem with your spine, your back, you essentially have a problem with your brain because there's a symbiotic relationship by where if there is an interference with the spine at some point on the spinal cord, then it's going to interfere with how the brain is working and degenerate and degrade how the brain is functioning. So
it's huge.
The health of your spine is integrally important to the health of your brain.
100%. So today, talking about brains and thoughts, and we're going to have a little chat about the law of attraction.
Yes.
Something that I think a lot of people get really muddled in their heads, and not like you said on, I think it was the last episode, but not so much anymore, but there was like a real phase of, I'm just going to think about it and sit back and let the universe do its thing. And I want to just discuss today that that's just not the case, basically.
Well, it's not. But I think it's gone the other way. So you're right. There was I think probably about 10 years ago, that law of attraction really started to be a thing. From my memory. And people were just like, you think about it and it'll come to life. Just think about it and it'll come to life. And people tried that. It didn't work. And it's flipped the other way to the point where, the law of attraction doesn't work. It's ridiculous. Why are you even talking about it?
Yeah.
And we've missed the real notion of what the law of attraction is. And it does work.
It does work.
It's crazy what comes into your life when you start to really work with the law of attraction. Yeah.
I've had vision boards. I found vision boards in my garage from years and years ago. And I'm like, oh, I've had that bike, or I've got that exact car, or that looks exactly like the house I'm living in now. Yep. And it's like, it really does. But the first note that I want to make about the law of attraction is everybody thinks that if you think about something, you'll get it, but it's not about thinking. It's about feeling. It's about actually feeling the emotions and the experience that you will feel when you've achieved that thing, and really living it in your mind. So maybe you can talk on that for a second.
And I think that comes with a level of certainty with it as well. So I think the difference between thinking and feeling is your certainty in the outcome. So you can think about something that you'd like and think about it, and it doesn't really happen. But if you really believe that that's going to happen, you're really certain that it's going to happen, then you'll start to feel the emotion of it.
Yeah.
So the simplest thing I ask for every day is an opportunity to serve another person. And the days where I don't get those opportunities. And sure enough, the days I ask, I get the opportunities. Every day someone contacts me to do coaching. Every day someone books a new patient appointment at the practice. On a day that I don't do that, it doesn't happen. And these things really do add up when you start to think about it.
And I think if you're just thinking about the things that you want, you're coming from a place of need and desire, and the universe or God or the quantum field or whatever word you want to use to describe it, all it recognizes and registers then is your feelings of need and desire, not the things that you're actually thinking about. So rather than coming from a place of need and desire, I think it's really important to come from a place of gratitude. And I know this is cliche and we've heard it 1,000 times, but it's so true. Like when you're thankful, like one thing that I do is I imagine what I will say to Law and how we'll respond to when we achieve this goal. And I'm like, we did it. Like, and I'm at that stage, or like sat on a private jet and like just celebrating with you or with Law and being like, here we go. This is what we've been working towards. We've done it. And that feeling of like gratitude and thanks that you can live now, but it will come in the future in the material world, is like really vital to the law of attraction.
Definitely. And I think we spoke about that in that sort of spirituality, religious episode that we did. But I would always ask in the morning and give thanks in the evening. But when I'm really focusing on the things I want, the main focus always first is the opportunities that I want, and then secondary is the stuff that I want. And that's where, when you start to look into the science of the law of attraction, that's where it really comes down to, because things don't just come to you when you ask for them.
No.
What happens is you start to become very aware of the opportunities. Your reticular activating system becomes alert to opportunities that are out there. And when you start asking for them, you start to see those opportunities, and then you act upon them and take them. And then things start to come into your life. And that's really how it manifests in the long run. And another thing, sort of what I was reading the other day, and I thought linked to this, is I simply read a passage. It simply said, when you give yourself to God, he shall give you the opportunities to succeed. So you can substitute God if you want for a purpose, or if you give yourself for a definite task, then the opportunities will come to you. And it's about that surrender and trusting the process, but also being certain in the process that it's going to return your investment in your energy, time, and giving.
Yeah, and the most famous book about the law of attraction is Think and Grow Rich. And in that, he says you must have a definite purpose. And that's like one of the main things. And when I first read that, I can remember writing down my definite purpose and writing it down and printing it off and putting it on the wall and reading it every single day. Now I do it through my vision board and through meditation. But yeah, it's the definite purpose is like really important to it. You can't just be like, oh, I want an amazing life. I want an amazing life. Like what amazing life? Who do you want to serve? How do you want to do that? What value are you going to bring? Where are you going to provide that? So yeah, the definite purpose is massive. And one quote, unknown, from source unknown, but you attract what you are, not what you want. If you want great, then be great.
Yeah.
And that's basically an all-encompassing thing. So it's not what you want. It's not what you think you want. It's what you are. And it's like that quote that I said in the previous podcast about success is not to be pursued, it's to be attracted by the person you become. So it's all about becoming the thing that you want to be before you are it, and then it attracts that to you.
And I think that's the difference. Like, it involves work. It involves a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
And people assume that this law of attraction is this simple way where you don't have to work.
Yeah.
But it's not the case. If you have a definitive purpose, if you have a direction that you're going in, you're going to work your way towards it. And the fulfillment and the reward comes from the doing. And the law of attraction becomes very powerful when you combine it with putting in a huge amount of effort and work. It's not simply ask for that and it will arrive on my desk.
No way. So yeah, what other books are there? There's
there's the law of attraction, isn't there? There's that book.
Is there one actually called the law of attraction? I don't know if I've even read that.
Shit, there was.
Is it?
Yeah.
Project 369 is a really interesting book if you're a spiritual person. That's kind of about the same thing. There's Think and Grow Rich, obviously. Noel Edmonds has written a book about the law of attraction, and it's actually really good. And I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember what it's called, but I'll try and find it and link it below. I've got the book. And then there's one I read, which is a really thin book called Cosmic Ordering Service, I think it was called. So yeah, if you're interested in the law of attraction, give those a read, check those out. And yeah, there's not really too much to say on it really, other than don't just expect it to happen. Like you said, you've got to put in the work. And if you've got a definite purpose and you write that down and you've got it up on your wall, and every morning you read it, and then you don't put in the action to do that, if you have any sort of a conscience, eventually it's going to start telling you, you need to be you can't just read this every day. You've got to work towards it.
Yeah, and that's where reflection at the end of the day is very important.
Yeah.
Like, how have I done today? Could I have done better?
Yeah. Did I move myself more towards my definite purpose?
Yeah, and if you find that you're not moving yourself towards it every day, then maybe that isn't your definite purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you've yet to find that. And that's fine to go on that exploratory journey to find out what it is you want to do. And it doesn't happen overnight. And it changes throughout your life.
Yeah. Yes. It does take time as well. Like, when I first started learning about the law of attraction, it was 2014. So it's nearly 10 years ago. And my purpose has changed multiple times in that time. Now it's to raise the collective consciousness through this personal development podcast, through bringing people to chiropractic. And I'm pretty settled on this one for a while.
Good.
This is where I'm at.
Chase it when it comes to fruition. This is another one.
This is where I'm at. Yeah. So anything else?
No, I think that's good. I think
nice short episode,
but just encourage people to sort of lean into what they think they actually want to achieve. What do you actually want in your life? And focus on that on a daily basis. See the opportunities that will take you there and jump on them.
Yeah.
Too often we don't focus on what we want. We miss the opportunities that pass us by, and then we wonder why we've never moved forwards over the time.
Yeah. And just finally, one thing that I was thinking recently: if you're working in a job that you're miserable in, really take stock of where you are and where you want your life to be. I think, like I've said before, the gatekeepers to really truly doing what you want to do have gone. So now is an easier time than ever to pursue a passion or a purpose. So it's worth sitting down and really thinking about it. And journaling's really good for that. Just writing down your thoughts. Too many people, I think, keep all their thoughts stored in the brain, and it just gets cluttered up there. And you need to write things down to know exactly where you are and what you want moving forward, I think.
100%. And if you want to work through that a bit more, then Lee's definitely someone you can reach out to and do, because I'm sure your coach would help people with that.
Yeah.
And if you want a great job, I'm always hiring.
Yeah. We'll leave some links below. Right. Thank you so much for listening and watching this episode. As always, please, if you got some value from it, leave us a review. You can leave them on Spotify. Just leave a 5-star review. Or if you're on Apple Podcasts, you can actually leave a written review, which means the world to us. And we've amassed, I think we're up to about 30 reviews now. So if anybody would like to leave one, we'd really, really appreciate it. Have an amazing day. Stay aligned. Tom, good to see you again, mate.
See you.
See you soon.